goes the way of the Canadians for the second time today, just edging ahead of the French. As they emerge from the fog and they approach mark number 1. The Emirates winning moment goes the way of North Star Canada. Spain rules San Francisco again. 65 seconds away from race number 2 at the Oracle San Francisco Sail Grand Prix, day number 1. Todd Harris, Stevie Morrison, Hannah Diamond, and Lisa Darmanin with you here, the city by the bay. The USA needs a big rebound in this one as they finished in last place. Remember, last place gets you no points, 10 points to the winner, and it's all about accumulating enough points where tomorrow only the top 3 teams will race in the event final. So here we go, Stevie, 40 seconds before the start of race 2.
Yes, USA have got themselves early back again here. They're leading the fleet back. They're going to struggle to kill the time here. Right-hand side of the screen, Canada are struggling. New Zealand are putting a more powerful display in towards the bottom of our screen, but the whole fleet is pretty early here. We can see they're all going to have to go quite slow on this time in. I like the position of Canada, and they get the Rolex pole predictor on the top. Old Giles Scott's going to be able to wind it up on board North Star Canada from here, but again, De La Pierre, he comes charging through on that French boat. It's going to be tighter at the bottom of the line this time. It's 9 seconds to go. Brazil in the middle of the line. New Zealand, the fastest boat. France. New Zealand must keep clear. The French are a little bit early. Watch for the line to turn white.
The umpires, France early start penalty.
Oh, they've got to drop back behind the whole fleet. So they've got to get behind the whole fleet. They slowed the Kiwis up as well, and it's opened the door for the Deutsche Bank Germany team. They're going to lead at Mark 1, and they could be followed by Mabudla Brazil. It's going to be a pile up here.
Eric Heil in his second season for Germany Deutsche Bank as they come up on mark number 1, the whole shot. Off to their right-hand side, Martini Grail and Mubadala Brazil, and it will be Germany and Brazil going 1 and 2 here in race 2.
Italy and USA 3rd and 4th as well. A complete flip of the results in race 1 at Mark 1. But we've seen it's a long, long race course. It's all about accuracy. Rolex sprint leader goes to the Germans, but they need to execute this manoeuvre. Australia manoeuvre way early, Todd, and look, they ran out of wind under the whole fleet. The disturbed air of the wind, a slow manoeuvre for the Aussies, but they are now in space as Germany executed. Beautiful manoeuvre on the bottom, and I don't see anything having changed here, Hannah. It's got to be all about the right turn at gate 2.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. We know there was a little bit of a right-hand wind shift in the last race, so they've got to keep an eye on for the direction of the wind, but it doesn't look like a lot's changed.
I love the parity in SailGP. First 4 events, 4 different winners, and the winner of the last race here, France, is in dead last. Second place, Australia, they're in 10th. So completely flipped the script here with the Germans out in front, Brazil in second place, and those teams finished 9th and 10th in our first race just moments ago.
Crucial decision at this gate 2 here. I think for Germany it should be easy, but they've missed their manoeuvre. Poor manoeuvre by the Germans. They might just save it. They've turned late and they've got back on the falls. Great save by the German team there. They're going to be easily set up for the right turn. I think it's an interesting decision here for Canada, for Spain. Which way are Spain going to go? Very awkward position for the Spanish. They're going to have to do 2 manoeuvres if they want to turn right, or dip all the way behind the British. Right of way, Great Britain.
Good start also for Taylor Canfield, US SailGP team. They opt for the right-hand side as well. They tuck into 4th place. Red Bull Italy now in 3rd, Emirates GBR in 5th, and Spain in 6th. And here comes Canada, winners of last event, in 7th with Giles Scott.
I seem pretty tight at gate 2. Lisa, what are you seeing? Are we more open course?
Yeah, it's definitely a more open course. It's getting more challenging out here. You heard Hannah talk about the shift, so the wind is moving left to right. It is a lot more left, so there's a big mountain that the wind has to come over. So as that wind comes over the mountain, it's changing the direction. So definitely more to play for. And you know, if you're in that 4th, 5th position, it's better not to follow it. It is to do that split so you can get the clear air, which is exactly what Spain did.
I think what's happening here, because the wind's shifting, what that does is it gives the opportunity for teams to sail a bit less distance. You see the German team and the Brazilian team, if you put their angle relative to those ladder lines, they were just progressing up the course a little bit more. Nice shift in direction, and now for these new teams, it's quite rare that they've got the clear wind this early on in the race to actually sail the boat fast and smooth. Voice of Paul Goodison here, strategist on board Brazil. He's trying to now eye up the optimum course. Here they go. Goodison crosses the boat, Macmillan crosses the boat, Martini Grail, left-hand side of screen, she spins the wheel. Germany have got to keep clear. Oh, that's so tight by the Germans. Whoa, that was pretty well judged by both teams there, I think. Had my heart in my mouth anyway. And right now, the Germans have put the absolute lockdown on Brazil, putting disturbed wind onto that boat. Germany will be slowing the Brazilians. Opportunity for the United States team.
Taylor Canfield and US SailGP team come all the way to the border, and then they make their maneuver. They stay on the foils. They stay in third. But here comes Canada, Giles Scott. North Star Canada rocking the Rockwell colors this weekend.
Here we go. We're going to go back on board the German boat here. They've got to react to the Brazilians. Brazil have got the right of way, so Germany have to be confident of being ahead here. You can see their strategist. She's in the bottom cockpit there watching the timing of the board drop. Well judged by the Germans. We don't get a lot tighter than that, but that was pretty perfect for me. Really quite perfect. And I think, talk about here come the Canadian team, Tom. We're going to come back to live. Look, bottom of our screen, right of way green circle around the New Zealand boat. The black foils were last, or not last, but they were right at the back of the fleet again. 10th at Mark 1, already up to 6th. Where does he find that space so early on in the race, Hannah?
I think they're just so good at sailing the boat under pressure, and when they're in a slightly difficult position, you can see they stay really relaxed. I think it'd be a real shame here for the Brazilians and the Germans if they sail each other back into the fleet. They need to separate, just give themselves the space to sail the boat nicely.
So as they come up to gate number 3, it is still Germany out in front. They got the whole shot at mark number 1. They led going down to that first leg, and now they'll have the choice. It looks like they're going to go away from the shore, opting for the right-hand side, and now we'll see who follows and who splits. And it looks like Canada may have the overtake on the U.S.
Yeah, Canada got the right of way here, Todd. So the U.S. team look like they're going to try and turn inside, maybe. No, change of mind on board U.S. They just sneak ahead of Brazil. Well judged. Really tight here. Italy have got the right of way. Oh, that was a tight moment. Well judged, maybe. It's really tight in the pack. Canada towards the favoured side. Emirates, Great Britain dive on the inside. Dylan Fletcher saw a chance and he took it.
Nice angle there for the build.
Brazil are back in the pack, unfortunately, again here. Just get a little bit out of phase, like Hannah said. You get slowed up by other boats around you. Great breeze on board Canada there. Their darker patch of water, they're going to be going real fast.
France still has not found a way like Pete Burling to work their way through the field. They still sit mired back in 11th place. The Australians have moved up to 8th.
Oh, it looks like the Germans have got a boundary penalty. They've sailed too wide on the pitch. That's 20 metres they're going to have to lose. And look, that's just opened the door for the Canadians. OK, they're trying to maybe save manoeuvres further down the course, but that is an unforced error. That's pretty inexcusable.
Same for the US SailGP team. They also pick up a penalty.
You can't afford to throw away metres at this level of the sport. They've now got the right of way here. Great Britain have got to keep clear. All this does is give the boats behind a chance. That includes the black foils. That includes the roos. And you don't give those teams a free chance.
Well, Hannah, you talked about boats separating themselves, and at that time you were talking about Germany and Mubadala Brazil. It's Canada now that has separated themselves and Giles Scott.
Yeah, and sometimes if you can find a bit of space on the course, even if the wind's not totally in your favour, just having the space to sail the boat nicely, have a bit more headspace to make the best decision.
Oh, it looks like there we've got a tight incident coming, but just as we went off screen, the US team, I think they just had a massive incident. Top right-hand side of our screen, they got really loose on the foils, very high. Rudders seemed to ventilate, look like they got air around the foils on the rudder. Lost control, disaster for the US team. Just got way looser, and already now Emirates, Great Britain are up to 3rd, New Zealand in 4th, and it's just a big mistake by that US team.
And they are dropping precipitously from 4th place now to 10th as they are off the foils. There you see the angle the Americans are sailing at. They've got to get this thing right.
I think as soon as you fall off the foils, if I'm right in saying, Hannah, you get big spread, the boat fills up with water, so you've got to get water out of the boat to get going again.
Yeah, not only are you having to rebuild your speed, you're also having to try and make your way down the course as well, so big loss for the Americans there.
So it is Canada that now takes over 1st place, as they will have a nice cross here, but they will be ahead of the Germans, who were in 1st. They've dropped back to 2nd.
Right, bit of a test of strength now here. We go, Brazil are getting close to the boundary there, so they need to start heading in towards here, building speed. They're accelerating for another manoeuvre, and they're going to head back towards that San Francisco shoreline, but they need to start smoothing out these manoeuvres because they're losing places.
Boy.
This is the umpires. Italy penalty. Port Tech boat not keeping clear. Go behind Australia.
Oh, painful for the Italians there. Carl Langford, wing trimmer, used to be on the Australian boat. He'll hate that. He's going to have to pay that penalty a little bit further back. We're going to get to see a little bit of a replay on that. You can see here the Italians, they turn the boat. They're turning onto the give-way tack. They're turning onto port, and if they're not in the boundary, a little bit too smooth. And that was a big judgment call there by the Italians. Too risky. We're on board the US. Look, mid-manoeuvre, they're crossing the boat. Rudder comes out. Look at that. And the whole thing lets go. Just got super loose into the manoeuvre there. Flying gone too high, too much heel in the boat as well as they crossed. That's just miscommunication between the three at the back of the boat.
So now we're back to live racing action. This is race number 2, leg 5 of 6, the penultimate leg, and it is Canada that's got about a 100-meter lead. They've got another maneuver, maybe 2, Stevie, as they'll have to make that left-hand turn. Believe me, that is North Star Canada flying the Rockwell colors for Denmark, unable to go this weekend because of damage to their boat in Los Angeles. And it looks like Canada, if they can hold on to this, it's going to be a big victory for them in race 2.
Yeah, they're really well positioned here. One more maneuver for the Canadians. Great Britain, they're basically saying with that maneuver, we'd be happy to take a second here. Trying to set up just one more maneuver. Yeah, Giles there, 1 and in. One more maneuver, and we'll be into this final turning mark. So the Canadians, well, they've not over-celebrated in LA by the look of it. They're pretty much back on form here.
That goes with a 5th that they got in race number 1. So a 5 and a 1 for them would give them some serious points. As you look at France, still back in 11th place, the winners of race number 1. Australia has somewhat right the ship. They are up to 4th place.
Yeah, New Zealand got a little bit out of shape. They were doing well. They're middle of our screen now, sat in 7th here. It's Australia and it's really Great Britain that are the big movers in this race. They've done a fantastic job of finding the opportunities. Seems to be a bit more wind where the Great Britain team are at the moment.
So Canada will take the win in race number 2 here in San Francisco. And as the Canadians come to the line, your Emirates winning moment will go the way of North Star Canada as they get the win. And look at this, you've got
Australia dives inside, Todd.
inside
Australia
of the
had
Germans.
the right of way. They had the right of way. He took that chance. He's passed the Germans.
Penalty Germany.
They didn't keep clear.
At the mark, go behind Australia.
Yeah, that's gone. That's penalty gone in a blink of an eye because the Aussies were ahead of them anyway. But what a move by Slingsby, and another place drop back for the Germans. They'll be disappointed there. No love loss indeed. Spain up to 6th as Australia take a 3rd, and they were right at the back of the pack at Mark 1.
Excellent counter, guys.
So it's Switzerland that gets 5, Spain gets 6, and the rest of the fleet comes through. Brazil has worked their way back up to 7th. Wow, not a big performance for the Kiwis.
No, they got themselves back in the race, but I think you can just quite easily get tangled up, a bit like we saw with Brazil and Germany. They slowed each other up, and it's quite hard. As soon as you're back in the pack and you're not on plan A, then you are at the whim of the other boats. Other boats can control you a bit. You can't control your decisions once you're back. So New Zealand need to get back to drawing board. 2 bad starts. Race 1, they saved it. Race 2, well, he hasn't been able to pull that rabbit from the hat.
And for the Americans, it is another dead last performance as France comes in. They salvage a 10th after winning the first race. The USA goes 11 and 11 with 2 more races to go. All right, coming up on 1 minute to go before the start of race number 5. 3 races scheduled for today. And the 11 teams now in the start box. We've got 11 teams. Denmark unable to go as they did damage to their T-foil yesterday, Stevie, on race number 1. And so 12 is now 11. And we are 3 fleet races and then the event final.
Yeah, I mean, it was a real disappointment, wasn't it? But this light winds, there's not going to feel like there's a lot of air to breathe here. And I think these new T-foils are going to be great. You will have glide with them, but they're going to be harder to get on the foil initially. So that acceleration phase is crucial. 30 seconds
This is the
to
umpires. Penalty Germany.
Germans, that's a big mistake really
Relative
there, isn't
GBR.
it? They've got to drop
Port
right back behind people here for a pre-start penalty there. That's going to be very costly for them. You can see now, top of the screen, we've got the New Zealand crew up and foiling, perhaps a touch early, but if he can stay on the foils, they're going to glide through. Our Rolex pole predictor sits on the French team at the moment. Contant de la Pierre, mid-line. We're looking for that line to turn. White, who's timed it right? Great start by Emirates. Great Britain out the middle of the line. New Zealand are foiling just, but I think they're just about to drop off the foil. That could be disastrous for New Zealand. The French, the British and the Swiss are going to be fast in towards Mark 1 from here, and Great Britain and France really need a big first race if they're going to hope to make the final this afternoon.
So not quite the same speeds we saw yesterday here in Los Angeles, but they are up and foiling, and here we go. Almost 3 wide into mark number 1. This is race number 4.
New Zealand done a pretty good job of hanging on the inside there. Might still get around 4th. Brilliant first leg by Dylan Fletcher and Emirates Great Britain. They really need that. Of course, it's all about being in the top 3 towards the final today, and this is huge for Dylan Fletcher and the team.
So race number 5 is off and running in the port of Los Angeles. It is France the first to turn away.
This first manoeuvre absolutely crucial. Can Britain stay on the foil? Bottom right-hand corner of our screen. They look good. They've done a lovely manoeuvre and the French fell off the foils. You're going to see a huge lead distance change here right now because the British are going to be going so much quicker. One hull in the water is a lot of drag. One foil is a lot less drag.
You can see how hard Hannah Mills is having to work there to try and keep the boat foiling. They've gone into a slightly different mode there to get further down the course and away from the French.
Take a look at that T-Mobile cam for business. T-Mobile for business giving us these great shots of those T-foils hard at work on board Emirates GBR.
They're going to try and be keeping this pretty simple round the course here. It's going to be light where Great Britain head because you're going to get in under the adrenaline lounge, but I wouldn't want to do any extra manoeuvres than I had to. You can see all the other boats fell off the foils doing the manoeuvre. Emirates Great Britain, it was silky smooth on the first turn, silky smooth turning up there. It's lovely work, and they're just going to stretch out now. This will be quite relaxing, but look, back in the pack, New Zealand, they fell off the foils and they've dropped back to 6th. Canada, Australia, they're out the back at the moment, but it looks like Canada's about to get some breeze. Giles Scott's calling for the pop onto the foils.
Hey, wings mate.
Oh, big moment for that crew there.
Down after the buoy, please. Everything for speed now. 57 target. Down 5, please.
I think what's really interesting, so Annie Hager there, she's had to come up onto the handles and start working those, and I just think it's a lot of load on those handles, isn't it? She's normally a strategist. Suddenly she's got to go and grind that whole big wing sail in.
It's really hard, and the pressure in the wing is actually still really heavy, even though it's light winds, the boats aren't going quite as fast. You're really having to work that wing sheet super hard just to try and get the boat up on the foils.
Hannah, how difficult is it, and we've seen some of the boats do this, once they drop off a foil, they go into H1 one hole here, how hard is it to get back up on and foiling again?
Well, there's a couple of things that go into it. You've got the physical exertion of the strategist, the grinder in this position, trying to generate, just as we can see it on board the French boat at the moment, really put as much power into the handles as they can to allow the wing trimmer to do what they need to do to manipulate the shape of the wing to get back up on the foils.
So there is France currently sitting in 2nd place right now. It's Emirates GBR that lead. They need some big results, Stevie. They did not have the best day in the first 4 races, and this is race number 5 as we kick off day 2 of the Rolex Los Angeles Sail Grand Prix.
Yeah, well, it's all about that top 3 places after our qualifying series to get to the grand final, the 3 races there. And well, it was New Zealand, it was Australia, wasn't it? Canada were doing well. Well, Canada have had a good comeback on this first downwind leg. Excellent work by Fletcher on the British boat right now, but there you go, that's the voice of Ian Jensen. He's just saying, let's keep it simple, try and get straight to the next mark with no more manoeuvres, so they're going to expect not to foil Hannah Mills. That means there's a lot of work to do grinding the wing there, but Luke Parkinson, if you're not foiling, then Luke Parkinson, the flight controller's not got a job, so he can happily come on and help on the handles.
And there you see the race to the final. As it stands right now, it would be New Zealand, France, and Canada making it in, with Emirates GBR just missing out. Remember, to Stevie's point, it is only the top 3 teams on points after the 7 fleet races.
You can see here is just that big first manoeuvre, nailed it by the Emirates Great Britain. They've got a big lead. I think they'll be looking pretty safe. The interesting race really is going to be back in the pack. What can Australia do to salvage something from that 9th? And I think the US team, they had a relatively buoyant finish to yesterday, but they normally specialise in these light winds. I think, you know, it's such a big advantage having Anna Weiss. She's a full-time grinder. She's not a strategist turned grinder. And she's on the handles right now, able to bring an awful lot of horsepower in. As New Zealand, I'm surprised they've done an extra manoeuvre there. They look very slow after that mark.
France currently sitting in 2nd, a long way away from Emirates GBR. We now go down to the water. And the question that everyone wants to know, Lisa Darmanin, is there more wind coming? And if so, when will it arrive?
Well, we do expect the wind to build throughout the afternoon, but one interesting thing about this course, it's the opposite to yesterday, the right-hand side. That's the only place we see boats foiling. So anyone that's heading into the port, they're able to pop on the foils, and that we can see Spain is foiling, Australia is foiling. It looks like the French have also popped up compared to Brazil and Switzerland.
Okay, so Lisa says more wind on the way. Stevie, maybe we'll have more pressure for race number 6. That is coming up, and right now race number 5 belongs to Emirates GBR as they are out in front by a huge margin. The battle will be on now to see who can salvage this race and pick up 2 or 3 points here more than their opposite team, because you look at Spain, France, Canada, they're really still in the mix, Stevie. Australia, New Zealand, also the USA. There's some teams out there that really aren't having to have a shot at making that top three.
So tight, and I wonder if it's any coincidence that there's more wind under the Los Angeles grandstand there. Perhaps the fans are giving a bit of extra help to the breeze on the racecourse. But it's the Spanish are the light wind specialists, especially in LA. This is where they won last year, and look at the way they've progressed up the fleet here. Huge upwind leg for Diego Boutin and his team. And him and the French, well, they're in a real battle to make the final, but look how slow the British boat is, just trickling. They're off the foils there, trying to avoid those other boats, and they're losing a lot of distance here. You can see the speed left-hand side in kilometres an hour. Well, wind speed's similar, but look how much slower the British are going at the moment with 2 hulls in the water. Pretty big call here for the Spanish. I think probably going to like to try and keep things simple and head straight on. Every time they turn the boat, it's a big problem. Right in the middle of our screen, New Zealand are foiling. They're showing us 6th at the moment, but they're going to be making some serious gains. They're nearly twice the speed of the Canadians at the moment. This is your chance to pop. This bear away moment here, we turn the boat away from the wind. It's your best chance for acceleration to get up and foiling, but it doesn't look like the Spanish are going to manage it. Will the French manage to pop that boat up on the foils? Here they go. Oh, it's lifting. Oh, perfect. There you go. Right, the French. Look at them go on the handles there to get that big wing sail moving for the takeoff, but they can't quite keep it foiling. Oh, so close, and they've decided to give up on trying to foil.
So this is leg 4 of 6, race number 5, day 2 of the Rolex Los Angeles Sail Grand Prix, and everyone's searching for wind, and Emirates GBR has found it. They are now up and foiling.
Oh, do you know what? I love these light wind races where you're on the foil, you're not on the foil. It's like Super Mario Kart, isn't it? How you can move up and down through the fleet. How stressful it is on board on these ones, though, Hannah.
Well, it all changes so quickly, even though relatively to other days, everything's happening a little bit slower. Actually, the mode changes are so important. Do you invest in foiling, or do you just sail with one hull out of the water and commit to that angle?
Great shots from the 5G POV camera powered by T-Mobile 5G on board Emirates GBR as they continue to search for pressure to get their boat up and foiling. They lead it, France in 2nd, Spain in 3rd, Canada in 4th, and the Swiss now a top 5 position. The Americans have dropped back to 9th.
Really nice upwind leg by the Australians here. They were 10th at the bottom, they're up to 6th. This will be huge for them in this race to the final. Remember, it's all about making the top 3 after we've done our qualifying races today, and a tactical choice here being made. Australia turn left, is going to go straight on New Zealand. Well, Lisa was talking about more wind under the fans on the shoreline. Who's made the right call here? New Zealand have got a decent chance to get up and foiling as they turn away from the breeze. Learn a lot about the course.
Yeah, copy. My wheel. Nice gust, chopper gusting through. Take that.
It's pretty slow, isn't it? New Zealand left-hand side of our screen, right under the fans. They are foiling, but can they stick another manoeuvre? If they can stay on the foils here, they're bound to be right back up near the front of the fleet, but they're not going to be able to do it. It's just too light at the top of the course. It's really dancing on ice. Mouse and carpet slippers required as they move around the boat there, but New Zealand for a moment, they were nearly away.
So it'll be Dylan Fletcher and Emirates GBR that get to gate 4 the fastest, and I say fastest as they cross the line. The course has been shortened, and that is your Emirates winning moment. So they shortened the course from 6 legs down to 4, and we were just caught off guard. Apologies there. It is Emirates GBR that claims race number 5 for your Emirates winning moment.
Well, you'd take that if you're on board Emirates Great Britain, wouldn't you? And right now, well, it's Spain with the right-of-way. Canada not really making any progress towards this finish line right now. They're sailing parallel to those ladder lines. Spain look good for a 2nd place here. That's right. Don't want it. That's right. I think that's a good call, Florian. Let's get weight off. I don't think you want to try and foil here. Just get to the finish in one hit. There they go. Joe Cordona just getting down, but a little bit late for me. Florian called for that a few seconds earlier, and those two have just run to the other side of the boat, but they've done it a little late.
Should be okay, though, right?
Looks like they're going to be okay, Todd, doesn't it? But I think, you know, that'll be an interesting one for them to debrief afterwards. Got to be quick adapting to these changes, these mode changes that Hannah was talking about, and they were perhaps a little slow there. But anyway, second place. They've done a far better job than I would have done, needless to say.
Adapting on the fly, all of us are, as the race is shortening. Crossing the finish line in second place is the winners of last year's event here in Los Angeles, and the reigning Season 4 champions, Spain. They get second. Valuable points there. Now the race is on for third, and this can be huge. Canada looks to have a slight advantage over France.
It's a big moment here, especially with New Zealand and Australia back 7th and 8th at the moment. This is a big, big thing. Dip for the finish here, potentially. Both boats are going to turn hard to their left to try and go straight through the line. They both go pretty early for my money. Looks like the Canadians are going to do it. Oh, I'd love to know who's going faster. They both. It's like a 100-meter dash. Dip for the line. Canada are going to get it. Could be
Canada,
huge.
Yeah, that would be a big difference.
Top right-hand corner, Todd. Sorry to interrupt. The Australians were up and foiling at that moment there. Look at them on the right-hand, top right-hand corner of our screen. They're foiling. Swiss in 5th at the moment, but not on the foils, and the Aussies are in a gust of breeze. Can they stick this manoeuvre?
No foiling.
Oh, it's
look at
beautiful. Oh, that was... What a manoeuvre. That was just Chris Draper on the new side of the boat. He had the wing, he had the steering wheel, he had it all, but they managed to stick that manoeuvre beautifully. This is going to be massive. Could be a 5th place here.
They're going to pick up the extra points as Australia comes flying towards the finish line. Look at the speed difference between them and the Swiss. And coming to the line, just like he did yesterday, Tom Slingsby has found some more magic on the Pacific, and they'll pick up an additional spot.
Somebody taught Tom Slingsby how to sail in light breeze, because they are rapid through the fleet. They were 10th after that start. Disastrous start. Excuse us for a bit of industrial language on board there. That hasn't changed with Tom Slingsby, has it? Even if the light wind techers has come on a little bit, but they'll be very happy with that gain. Solid mid-fleeter for the Swiss, but they probably needed something special, and this could be a tough day for the Kiwis. They're going to need something special in the next race.
You can see how changeable it is. There's no form book at all today, so really difficult to keep the boat going. The teams who've had a bit of a more difficult race are going to have to pick themselves up, turn themselves around for the next race.
So now the race is on to see who can salvage at 7th place right now. Will it be Germany or will it be the Kiwis, Stevie? This is the question, and it looks like Germany has more speed. They have the right of way, and the Kiwis have to worry about Brazil right now.
Yeah, the Kiwis have got to keep clear of Brazil, and they're trying to shut the door here on the Brazilian team. Brazil are going to gain the right of way potentially. Now they've got to keep clear of New Zealand. It's tight, but the Kiwis need every point they can get.
Red's there, right? Smash them. Go outside.
And this is a battle for 8th position, and Pete Burling realizes what's at stake.
He's got to say, Marcini can't turn there yet. They're wide of the 3-boat length circle. Burling's going to spin it. He wants to make sure he's not overlapped as he comes into the circle. It's all about accelerating out of here.
But has he opened the door now for Italy?
They've nearly gone off the course. Italy, maybe, but they're a long way back. I think Burling's hoping to enter the circle, not overlapped. He's now putting disturbed air on Brazil. Great move by Burling. It was aggressive, it was legal, and he's got the job done.
Look at that. Look at that. That's like parallel parking. Holy cow, New Zealand will pick it up. And then Brazil will finish in 9th. We've got the matters of race number 4 here on day number 1 of the Oracle San Francisco Sail Grand Prix, as all 11 teams now are into the box and ready to go. 35 seconds. And Stevie, I wonder if everyone has learned where to go and when to pull that trigger, because it seems like everyone's problem has been too early to the line.
Yeah, and it's Italy and Canada that are going to have to go slow from here. North Star Canada have been on fire today, but they need a good start. USA a better position towards the top of the screen this time, and out the back it's Rolex timing that's going to be totally crucial here. See, middle of the line, the Rolex pole predictor 6 on Canada. It's Italy in the middle of the line. Emirates GBR, but Delapierre on board France again. He's going to thread the needle. Watch for that learn to turn white.
And a great start for the Americans. Perfect time for Taylor Canfield to get to that line on time, but it is France once again the winners of race number 1, and they figured it out. Quentin Delapierre very aggressive in that box in the first 3 races, and this time it pays off again like race 1 as they approach Mark 1, and it will be the French that will have the lead.
Yeah, great work there. The US team are going to slide around the outside. They've got a good position here. They haven't got the right of way, though. They're going to have to go all the way into the boundary to get space. Blackfalls are giving himself a chance now, and look how tight it is in the pack. Mubadala Brazil, good call moving away early here, and expect New Zealand to decide to turn early as well.
France are your Rolex sprint leaders, and here we go. All right, Hannah Diamond, whose position do you like best?
Well, I think the French are positioned really nicely. Biggest change from the last race, I think the wind's definitely picked up. They're sailing much further down the ladder lines, and you can see the water's much darker where they've got more wind there.
Breeze looks good there. And I think what's interesting here is North Star Canada are going to maneuver, and they're going to come back at the US. They're going to really pressurize USA's next maneuver, so it will be tight at the bottom here as we see the Oracle Cloud giving us the live speeds there. We see France are quick, no surprise. They're out in front in clear wind. The United States are going to have a tough call to make coming into gate 2. They need to nail this maneuver now. Canada turn, New Zealand turn and get a bit loose. It's all about accuracy in these last few meters to gate 2.
Need to be faster. Everyone knows.
US stick the maneuver well there, Todd.
So Taylor Canfield now sits in 3rd place for US SailGP, a team desperate in need of a win or a top 3 finish. It is France, though, that opts for the right-hand side. North Star Canada follows them, and US SailGP just ahead of the Black Foals, the Kiwis, with the Aussies right behind them. Oh, the Americans!
The US team, they've had an absolute howler on that bottom roundup. They got too high, they got loose, they parked it. Somehow Burling and the Black Foils managed to miss round the outside. The Australians went flying around the outside of them, and they're now going to be way at the back of the pack again. It's getting loose with this breeze filling in.
Very limited, it's kind of going.
So the Americans were sitting in 3rd, and they absolutely come to almost a complete stop. They are now dropping back to 8th place. Meanwhile, on the other side of the course, it is Spain and Mubadala Brazil having their own little battles. We go back and look at this one more time, Stevie. Just when you thought they've turned the corner, this is going to be a big moment, what happened?
Yeah, hard moment on the flight control there. Hans Henken, he's in the right-hand screen. As they turn out, they just get too high, and they don't control the timing. Not enough horsepower going in on that wing to sheet it back in. It gets real high, real loose. They actually do a good job getting the wing there, but they just get too high, slip sideways massively, lose all the grip on the foil, and that's just so much discipline at their back. It's a great start. They were 3rd place, they're 11th. Mistakes hurt you so badly, and that's just opened the door now for teams like Spain, teams like Australia. They take hold of that opportunity, and the Black Foils, they're showing in 3rd right now. Good move for them. They need a big race here.
Possibly looking at a 4th different winner in 4 races. It was France, Canada, and Spain winning the first 3. Will it be Australia? Will it be New Zealand coming through to get a win here? They look best positioned right now, Hannah, from this perspective.
Yeah, they look really nicely positioned, and we know that they can sail the boat really well, so it's going to be about choosing the right strategy. This gate at the top, I think, is going to be critical because the fleet is still really compacted, so who can find space and the shortest distance around the course?
All right, we go down on the course. Lisa Darmanin has the best view. Lisa, where's the pressure? Where do you want to be, and which side do you think they're going to opt for?
Well, the wind has picked up across the course. I actually think before it wasn't very good to go out to sea away from the shoreline, but I think right now there is pressure out there, so I expect the French to turn right here.
You see good wind on the French boat here at the moment. Right now it looks pretty good. New Zealand are going to turn all 4 boats. Oh, the New Zealand team, oh, they lost the rudders a bit through the middle of that turn. That was a poor manoeuvre. I think they'll be able to recover quick enough. Yeah, look, they're up and foiling again, no problem. They're going to be clean, but now it's Spain are going to be the first boat to manoeuvre away. Australia have got to be sure they're ahead. Oh, it's tight in the back, yeah. Spain are going to be the interesting one. See how Spain do relative to New Zealand and Australia here to see where the gain is on the racetrack.
Yeah, with the Kiwis coming off the foil there, it caused the Australians to slow down like a parked car in front of them, and so Spain at full speed came in, opt for the inside line. They head closer to shore, but it's still France out in front, the winners of race number 1. Canada in 2nd, the winners of race number 2.
Yeah, Spain were over 80 kilometres an hour out of that turning there with the left turn. It's going to be New Zealand and Australia with the right of way. North Star Canada here, they've got the right of way here, but they've got a little bit of work to do if they can hope to catch the French. I think for them now, this late on in the race, they're going to just try and keep it simple, hang on to a second, and end what would be a great day. Big lefties. Talking about the wind's changed angle. It started blowing more from the top right of our screen. It's rotated to blow off that shoreline, and you can see they're nearly sailing straight down the ladder lines here. It's actually going to give France a tricky decision to make at the bottom. Do they do an extra manoeuvre and head back towards that side, or do they open the door for the boats behind? Big game for Spain. Spain did find more wind. They cross ahead of New Zealand.
So at the bottom of the course, it is France that goes for that left-hand side. Canada, they're going to opt for the right-hand side, and it looks like Spain is heading that way as well. They'll have to contend with the black foils, the Kiwis, and the Kiwis will spin it around. Australia will opt for the same side as France. So now you've got 5 boats fighting really for that winning position.
That was a really, really good maneuver by the black foils there. They had to do a double eagle jibe, they call it. They put both boards in the water, turned twice, flip-flopped around it. So easy to get that wrong. They made it stick, and they've now got control over the Spanish. I thought it was going to be opportunity for Spain. Perfect execution by the black foils.
This is leg 5 of 6 in the final race of the day. They're heading up to the top of the course on the right side of your screen. Then it'll be a left-hand turn, a quick shot to the finish line, and someone's going to take the win here. And right now, it looks like France, but look at Canada closing the gap.
Potentially just one more maneuver for Canada as well, do you think, Hannah?
Yeah, it's going to be close. If we look further up the course, we'll be able to see whether they can just do one more maneuver, because they just need to turn left at this top mark, and that could really make the difference, because France will definitely have at least 2.
So, Stevie, is this something that was set up 2 gates ago, or is this just at the last gate?
Yeah, exactly. That big wind shift made it a really hard. You either had to do a very hard maneuver like we saw New Zealand do, or take the simple maneuver as the French did. But the trouble with the simple maneuver, they saved an option at the bottom of the course, but they're going to give them an extra maneuver later on. It's always that compromise. You try and plan ahead, but in planning ahead, you probably give yourself a little bit of a problem later. So Canada's going to have the right of way. France are going to be on the inside. It's going to be really tight. It's all about execution of these maneuvers here. Canada set up.
On course, France still has the lead, but this is going to be close. Remember, Canada's going to come in hot. They stay on the foil, so it'll be a straight shot to the gate for them.
I'm out for the boy. Let's get the pace on first.
My right.
You can hear the tension rising a little bit on board the Canadian boat there.
I think France is far enough ahead here, Todd, but they've got to stick the maneuver. They're going to spin in front. They're going to put disturbed air onto them. Perfect. That's a great maneuver by the French.
Faster mode. Happy that all the can't.
Yes, Paul Campbell James talking about higher mode. He's talking about sailing a little bit closer to the wind. Let's sail a bit slower, but try and minimise the distance. Oh, France making an error here. Well, they've opened the door.
Yeah, they have. Look at the speed.
Canada. He's coming. He's Elongage. He's going to try and get over that. Oh, that mistake's going to cost the French. North Star Canada are going to get it done, Todd.
The Emirates winning moment goes the way of the Canadians for the 2nd time today, just edging ahead of the French.
Oh, I can feel her pain. That manoeuvre there, they just got it all wrong, the French. They'd judged it so well, they'd shut the door, but they just didn't execute it properly. New Zealand come home 3rd. Australia are going to take 4th. Spain 5th. The points are going to be so tight, and a great final race for Mubadala Brazil. Marcini Grail and team there, they've held the whole race together. As we see, bottom of our screen, Emirates Great Britain off the foils, and the wheels are coming off for them at the end of today. They've not had a great day, and they're struggling to get around this with the current against them. Could be more manoeuvres to do. Don't expect to see the Emirates GBR way at the back of the pack. Oh, this is a howler for the British team. Look at that head in the hands there, Nick Hutton. He is not happy.
Over on points. Yep. Gonna get stuck on this mark.
Oh.
Back.
Remarkably calm. We've all been there, haven't we? That's an absolute shocker. We've maybe not all been there on live TV, but that is an absolute disaster for Emirates Great Britain. Little mistakes in that thing is going to cost, and it's not been a great first day for them. They got a lot of work to do overnight.
Emirates Great Britain started off on race number 1 with a decent showing in 8th place, and then a 2nd in race number 2, a 4th in race number 3. They're going to get an 11th in race number 4, so this will be difficult as Red Bull Italy comes through in 10th, and Emirates GBR still on the course. They will finish in 11th, so day 1 of racing is now complete. Coming up on a minute to go before the start of race number 7, the final fleet race here at the Rolex Los Angeles Sail Grand Prix. Only the top 3 teams after this race will be moving on to the 3-boat event final.
Middle of the line, Australia early back. They're deciding to try and really control the starts. They're right slap bang in the middle of our screen, the Australians there, and they're really trying to control these starts. New Zealand off to the left-hand side. Great Britain this time have found some space. France has space as well. 42 seconds to go. We see that blue triangle. That's our optimum pole predictor position to start. That should give you the optimum equation of distance versus speed towards Mark 1, and the Australians are well lined up for it at the moment. The Rolex pole predictor sits right right on top of that Australian wing. And the boats are trickling in here. They're all a little early for me. They're going to have to get slow late on. France dip out the way. Canada currently the favourites. They've been starting really well. 17 seconds to go. Brazil well positioned. Canada well positioned. And Great Britain well positioned. New Zealand are struggling to get a good start from here. All about the acceleration now. Winding up onto the foils here. The boats turn down. We're looking for the line to turn white, and we'll be go on the final qualifying race.
No foil yet, no foil yet.
Good start by Emirates Great Britain. Are they foiling? I think they might be about to. Germany have come through on the foils. Switzerland are on the foils. And yes, Emirates Great Britain are on the foils. They need to win the race if they're going to have a shot at the final. And this could be just the move they need.
At mark number 1, the final fleet race of Los Angeles event, and it is Emirates GBR desperately needed a whole shot, and they get it.
Oh, and this is the race we've got to watch. It's a simple watch now. Left-hand side of screen, New Zealand are last. Emirates Great Britain are in the lead. All about this manoeuvre for Emirates Great Britain. First 3 boats turn at the same time. Who does it best? Switzerland are off the foils. Germany hang in, but perfect from Emirates Great Britain. Rolex Sprint leader, and they are going to be gone at gate 2.
Germany have done a good job coming out of that jibe exit. They're working really down low, close to Emirates GBR.
Nice job. I think Emirates Great Britain will go around the outside from here, and it'll be Germany following. Question now is New Zealand. They're sat in 11th, and that will put them 4th overall in the race to the final at the moment. They've got work to do. There's a chance here. You're saying there's a chance, Dylan Fletcher.
It gets really interesting because if the race standings go like this for the rest of this race, it would be Emirates GBR that would get into the final, bumping New Zealand into 4th by 2 points. So the Kiwis, they've got to get up and go.
They have, and Canada are doing a nice job. Of course, Canada, Australia, they can't afford to drop too far back either. But right now, it looks very good for Emirates Great Britain. The Kiwis left-hand side of screen, here they come. They're coming into view. To me, they will have gained a few places here, but the crucial thing is, can they get foiling? It looks like they can. I think the Kiwis are going to get foiling, and they're going to overtake a fair few boats. It's chaotic on the course here because this first downwind leg's so short, but New Zealand are foiling. They're going to be way, way up the leaderboard from where they are after this. They're going to go behind Australia and look to turn left. Pressure could be on the Australians rather than the Kiwis after this gate. Spain are going to have rights on the inside. This is getting really difficult for the Australians right now. It's going to be advantage New Zealand over Australia. Tom Slingsby's on the back foot. He's got serious work to do here.
Lots of up here.
And now it's Australia dropping into that 4th position. So as it stands right now, it would be New Zealand, Canada, and Great Britain.
It would. I think Australia are actually slightly better. I think because the fleet's so congested with people on the first downwind leg still. Yeah, there you go. Sudden jump up.
Yep.
And I think that would be enough. 7th is enough. But Australia are right on the cusp. Dylan Fletcher and Emirates Great Britain can't do any more right now. But Australia needs to finish 7th if they're going to make the final. That's the simple battle. What a first downwind leg for Peter Burling and the New Zealand crew. Saved their event in that manoeuvre.
Take you on board Emirates GBR. Beautiful shot there. That's what we want to see. Nice, clean foiling. Hannah, your old team looking very good, but the situation is this. They can win the race, but they still can't guarantee themselves a spot in the final.
No, and you can hear the tempo on board is quite calm because they'll be very aware that if they can win the race, whatever happens behind them, they can't influence it.
I think what's important to remember at this stage, Todd, look, bottom right-hand side, the Oracle Cloud gives us that race to the final, and Great Britain are ahead, but the same points as Australia. It's important to remember if you're in a tie-break, it's the person that does best in the last race that will get the shot through to the final. So it's good for Emirates Great Britain at the moment, but the Australians have just overtaken 1 place up to 7th. He's got to work.
Oh, we got to sail better than this. Ridiculous, just lost it. Okay, Max stiff there.
Okay, my big moment. Can Tom Slingsby reset himself? There's plenty of opportunity on this racetrack, but we're nearly halfway through the race. Got work to do.
So they'll come up to the top of the course, then they'll go back down, then it's over to the quick shot in front of the fans. Tom Slingsby's going to try to rally. See, there's 2 teams out there that I would not put money on not to make the final because all they have to do is work their way up a few positions, it would be Australia and New Zealand. They are the craftiest of working their way through the pack. Yeah, and they've just normally got really good manoeuvres, but you can hear the tension levels are high, aren't they? You know, there's a lot of money on the line at this event, as well as the championship points. Tom Slingsby will be well aware of that. He's going to set up for one more manoeuvre and a left turn. Great Britain are nearly a leg ahead. Look, they are just sailing away with it here. New Zealand right-hand side of screen, they have to finish ahead of Australia, and in fact they really want to be trying to keep a couple of places in the bank, but they're foiling right now, 37, 38 kilometres now. Looks good for the New Zealand crew at the moment. And Australia just picked up another position as they move ahead of Spain. They do, but they've got to get back past Switzerland, I'm pretty sure. They need to overtake the Swiss if they were. Here we go. Oh, Australia have got it. If it stays as it is, 1 point in it. Oh, this is so tense for them. So Tom Slingsby gives a quick on-water pep talk, and they rally for another position. Will that position hold, or does Dio Botin come back and turn the tables on him? Meanwhile, it's Emirates GBR. They've already made the turn at the last gate, and they are heading upwind. Yeah, I mean, Emirates GBR have done absolutely everything they can, sailing a great race here, as you say. The final upwind leg, nothing more they can really do. I wonder if they can maybe slightly slow down the Australians somehow. It'd be a little bit of a non-ideal move, but you can at least put yourself in their way, so they've got to sail around you. Bottom line, Hannah, they own the tiebreaker. So if they just win this race, they'll cross the line. They'll feel great about winning the last race, but they'll just wait and see what Tom Slingsby and the rest of the fleet do.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a nervous moment sometimes when you cross the finish line. There's nothing more you can do, and see where the chips fall after that.
I think any of us, you'd probably tell us better than anyone, Hannah, but you know, Dylan Fletcher's not going to be happy with winning the last race and not making the final, is he?
No, and sometimes it does just play out like that, but they're doing an excellent job so far in this race, and winning the first race of today as well.
Tight with Australia and New Zealand still here. Pressure manoeuvres for the Kiwis. They've got a couple of manoeuvres to do. Australia and Switzerland are very tight as well. The Aussies are chasing the Swiss down. It's going to come down to these last couple of manoeuvres at the bottom.
Sebastian Snyder, he is at the wheel of Switzerland. Yeah, he is, but Stevie, he has got the masterclass behind him, and Tom Slingsby just tracking him down.
He has, but Slingsby needs to know that he doesn't have to overtake the Swiss. What he has to do is not get tangled up and slowed by the Swiss. What a manoeuvre by the Australians under pressure, though. The Roos have nailed that. They've got to keep clear of Switzerland at the moment, but as soon as they enter that yellow circle, the Aussies will have the right of way. But the Australians, the crucial thing, can they stay foiling?
Coming up here, staying fast.
They've nailed that, Todd. They've absolutely nailed that. It was a perfect ley line. Sailed about 30 metres less than the Swiss. Nailed the manoeuvre. That might be the moment we say the Australian booked their ticket in the final.
So Great Britain still way out in front by more than 200 meters in the distance. They will win this race, barring any major disaster. There they are at the bottom of your screen, just cruising along at 24 kilometers an hour. Probably unaware of what's happening in the back of the pack as the Australians have overtaken the Swiss. They are in 7th place. As long as they stay in that 7th, Stevie, they look to be safe.
Stay on the wheel, stay on the wheel.
Oh, there's a bit of a tangle for Chris Draper there. He crossed over and was going to take the wheel, but he managed to get a bit tangled. I think they've salvaged it, but at the moment the Spanish could have gone round and got ahead of the Australians, I'd say, to my eye. The Spanish have got the right of way, coming in from the left-hand side of our screen. Both boats struggling to progress much upwind, but the Kiwis crucially are foiling, as are the Spanish, so they're going to be starting to absolutely motor up this racetrack at the moment. Lisa, what hope have you got for the Australian fans out there? Are they heading the right way?
I think they're heading the right way, but the issue we've got, if you look at the New Zealand, if they make the ley line, they've got to do 1 manoeuvre, where Australia still have to do 2 manoeuvres. So this is a really dangerous spot for Australia to be in right now.
No danger for Emirates GBR, Lisa, as they make through the last gate, and as they approach the line in front of the fans, the Emirates winning moment will go to Emirates GBR. So the Brits claim the win in race number 7, and now they sit and wait and look for some help.
There you go, Dylan's already asking. Poor old Rob Wilson's got to be getting the answers out to Dylan quickly here. The crucial boat right now is the US. They've got the right of way. They're going to cross ahead of Australia. That currently puts the British in the final and Australia out of it. Australia have got more manoeuvres to do, and they've got to be ahead of USA and Switzerland when they come back together if they're going to hope to make the final. They're foiling, but the US have got one less manoeuvre to do.
Well sailed, team. Good race. Good race. It's really tight. We need Australia to lose a place.
So there's Rob Wilson confirming what Stevie had just said. Australia sitting in that 7th place. They need to drop to 8th place to give Emirates GBR a chance of making the final. Germany's in safely in 2nd place, and now the race is on. Italy looks to be claiming 3rd. Canada's going to do themselves a solid, so they seem safe as they will come in 4th, and then New Zealand. And keep your eye on the center of the screen. You'll see Australia coming in, and watch the USA, the Stars and Stripes.
That's exactly it, Todd. That's the race. So this manoeuvre by the US is crucial. They've not got the wing pop. They're a bit late popping the wing just in time. Got a lot of heel in the boat there, but they're okay. Now, Australia have the right of way, but they've got one more manoeuvre to do. USA will be thinking they can get there with no more manoeuvres, but they've got to keep clear of the Aussies, and it's all about that for the race to the final. Can Slingsby find a way to hold Canfield behind him?
And coming up here.
Here's the cross.
He's dialed him down a little bit, tried to make it hard for Taylor to make the mark with no more manoeuvres, but I think the USA team look all right. Slingsby's only hope is to stay foiling and go trailer park around the outside.
Get a little press for the market.
USA are going to be slow. Australia are going to be on the foils. Here we go. Slingsby's lining up the Slingsby slingshot into the finish. It's going to come down to this. Can he get past the US boat?
Never has a battle for 7th place been more exciting than this. As the Americans get into the circle, they've got the inside line. Taylor Canfield will spin it around. Can Canfield and the Americans hold off the Australians? Great Britain is certainly hoping so.
Australia have got to keep clear. Australia have got to keep clear until they get near that boundary, and then all of a sudden the Aussies will have right of way to keep clear. They're staying on the foils. I think he's done it, Todd.
Oh my goodness.
He's got a sense of drama on board there, hasn't he? Johnny Drama, Tom Slingsby on the boat. He's just got to glide across the line. I think that's enough.
Just enough, as Tom Slingsby will claim 7th. US SailGP will finish in 8th. And by Stevie's calculations and a quick work on the abacus, it looks like Australia has done just enough to get into the 3-boat final as US SailGP crosses the line in 8th. Switzerland will finish in 9th, with Brazil in 10th.
Pretty sure I'm right with my maths there, Todd, and the Oracle Cloud's backing me up as well, which is a far more reliable source of data, that is for sure. I think with Australia, well, I mean, well, that's hard for Emirates Great Britain. That's the first final they're going to miss in season 5, but wow, they came up good when they needed to. They had to win the race. They did win the race. What an incredible final race.
And there are the 3 boats. The 3 protagonists that will take part in the event final here in Los Angeles: North Star Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. Stevie, I'd say North Star Canada is the newest to this group, but Giles Scott is not new to this kind of racing.
No, and they were so close to winning in Sydney, weren't they? They're going to have the bit between their teeth, that's for absolute sure. Same for Slingsby and Burling, you know, had a terrible event in Sydney and disappointing in New Zealand, but I think with this Canadian crew, you know, Annie Hager and Giles seem to have really found their feet in terms of mapping out a course around the racetrack, and Billy Gooder, well, he's renowned for pushing the ride height really aggressively. He was on fire yesterday with it. He would like a little bit more breeze, and I think in these flat waters, it's going to suit Billy.
And then let's talk about New Zealand, Hannah. They have been the class. They are always consistent. They always have so much talent on board.
Yeah, and that combination of Pete and Blair, they've been competing and winning together for so many years. Leo Takahashi a bit newer in that flight controller role this year with this team, but Liv Mackay, again, been there for a long time now, really solid crew.
And of course, Australia rounding out the trio with Tom Slingsby, a 3-time champion in 5 seasons of SailGP. Stevie, he's got all kinds of talent surrounded him as well with Waterhouse, Chris Draper, and Tosh Bryant.
Yeah, I think Draper's been a great addition to the team, and Slingsby now seems to really have it in light air.
So here we go, the final race for the Rolex Los Angeles Sail Grand Prix, the Rolex SailGP Championship. This is event 4, season 5, SailGP. Now just the top 3 teams on points after 7 races have taken place, and it is New Zealand, Australia, and North Star Canada that'll battle it out for the title.
Here we go, we see bottom right-hand corner of the start line, and we see the optimum place to be is on the inside of Mark 1. We heard Chris Draper saying we're almost racing back to the line. They're all quite late. Good news for Canada. Can they stay foiling? The Rolex Pro Predictor has just switched to the Australians on the inside, but I think they're going to struggle to get accelerated in the dirty, disturbed wind behind the other boats here. New Zealand are up and foiling, Canada up and foiling. We're waiting for the line to turn white. I love where the Kiwis are. All about timing now. How are we looking, Peter Burling? We are on time on New Zealand. The black foils will lead at Mark 1. Australia are late, and Canada have got it all on, but it's going to take some catching Burling and co from here.
The other way the dog looks okay.
As they approach mark number 1 here at the event final, worst case scenario for North Star Canada Australia, it is the black foils up and foiling and pulling away, pushing almost 70 kilometers an hour.
These manoeuvres are now crucial. We heard it's all about really sticking them in. Tom Slingsby saying we should be sticking the manoeuvres, it'll be a mistake not to. Canada turn early, they look to cut the corner on the New Zealand crew. Who's done the better manoeuvre? Speed-wise, Canada look pretty good. I think they've maybe just hung on enough here, New Zealand. New Zealand look pretty good. Canada are potentially going to have to do 2 here, and it looks like further distance to a right turn. So New Zealand definitely going to minimise distance down here, and they're fast. It's going to be good news for the Kiwis. Maybe a little too aggressive too early from Canada, but they will have a split at gate 2, and we will see who finds more wind after this downwind gate.
So it almost becomes a 2-boat race now, with Australia really getting off the line late. It is the black foils, New Zealand opting for the right-hand side there, and North Star Canada going left.
Look like pretty good for a left turn there for pressure. Lisa, what are you seeing on the water? Are you turning left or right?
I still think out of the odds, the right-hand side has been working the most. Canada looks pretty lit up, so it's really coming down to the executing manoeuvres. But where New Zealand is where it's been working best all day.
Right now, the Canadian boat is on the foils. The Kiwis have manoeuvred, fell off the foils, but they're back up and going. As we see from the Oracle Cloud, we got the wind velocity very similar across the course right now. Not a lot in it. It's going to come down to executing good manoeuvres and who's found the best angle. Brilliant tack by the Canadians there. Stayed on the foils. Will be a gain, but it still looks like advantage New Zealand as they have the right of way.
And Australia back in the mix, so they are now sitting currently in 2nd place as they pick that left-hand side, and watch the Canadians start to close this gap.
Looked like quite a lot of bias at that bottom gate. Looked like the Kiwis and the Australians sailed a lot less distance to me, Hannah. Do you think that's right?
Yeah, and that left turn's been favoured all day, really. But I think if you're the Canadians and you're in 2nd, you want to go for the win, so you have to split and then see what happens from there.
That's exactly what they did, but now no one able to track down Peter Burling and New Zealand. They came off the line fast, Stevie, and that has been the story really all day today and a little bit of yesterday. Get that start, getting clean air, and you stay away from trouble.
Yeah, I mean, even there's a bit more space now, so we can see as the Kiwis turn here, they've not done a great manoeuvre. They're just making a few little errors every time they turn the boat upwind here, and the Canadians did stay on the foil. See, Canada are still foiling, and this manoeuvre back, Canada will have the right of way. Can they stay foiling? Looks pretty good to me. How's that speed? Yes, they've stayed flying, and they have the right of way here, Todd. Massive. Could be a lead change coming here. I like what the Canadians are doing. They're going to turn left. New Zealand are probably going to be forced to either try and dive in front of Canada or dip behind and split away to the right. Big gain by the Canadians, all down to brilliant handling from the crew.
Not that tricky of a cross right there, as Canada with the right-of-way opts for that other side. They split the course again. Australia drops back into 3rd place. So it is Canada on the water with a slight lead over the black foils of New Zealand, who got the hole shot. They led at mark number 1.
Definitely got good wind on board the New Zealand boat at the moment. When they meet back up, they're going to meet back up in about 20 or 30 seconds, maybe 30 or 40 seconds actually. New Zealand will have the right of way, but it'll all be who's lined up for this bottom gate, and can the New Zealand boat make Canada have to take avoiding action? New Zealand might have fallen off the foils again here, Todd. I think they've missed another manoeuvre, and Canada are making no mistakes. Billy Gooderham and silky smooth. Yeah, Canada, New Zealand are off the foils. Another error by the black foils, and that's another big gain for the Canadians. This looks pretty good for North Star Canada at the moment.
And Hannah, here's my question. As Canada comes in here, are they going to opt for the left-hand side this time, where Lisa Darmanin was reporting more pressure?
I think if they can make it in, then that would be the smart decision. It has been strong all day, but it's just whether they have to sail low and slow mode together, or if they pick that line just right.
What a turn of events after just one leg, with New Zealand looking like, Stevie, they were going to check out and run away with the victory here. And Giles Scott said not so fast, as he is now pulled into nearly a 200-meter lead.
Isn't it interesting, Todd, in sport, how it all comes down to that error count and unforced errors making this trick. I'm not saying it's easy to manoeuvre in these boats, it's really, really hard. But if you do it well, it's simple gains. They've not really done anything special, they've just done the basics very well. Nice roundup, they're definitely sailing towards a dark patch of water there. Canada are heading towards a fantastic bit of breeze. Expect New Zealand to split away potentially, or they're going to set them. No, New Zealand are saying, look, we're going to have to settle for second here. They want to just make sure they stay ahead of Australia, and it'll be Australia that look for magic on the other side of the course. But Canada right now, wow, North Star Canada looks like Giles Scott could be bringing home his first Canadian win.
Up here in 2, 1, setting up.
Tom Slingsby makes the turn. He splits with the Kiwis, and now it is on. The lead is now down to 150 meters as they make their way up to the top of the course. Then it'll be a right-hand turn into the finish line. There you see the distance. It's under 100 meters now. Do they get the pressure? Does New Zealand get it? We go down in the water quickly. Lisa Darmanin, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking Canada's looking pretty solid right now. The New Zealand, they didn't have a good manoeuvre, so I think if you're Canada, you got one more manoeuvre to do, and then this win could be theirs.
So at 52 kilometers an hour, Stevie, they look to be in good pressure. As you look at the surface of the water, New Zealand now, all they can do is hope for a mistake.
Yeah, beautiful manoeuvre by the Australians. I don't see a mistake coming. I think the real battle's perhaps for second and third here. Australia have got a couple more manoeuvres to do. New Zealand perhaps just one, but the Aussies will have to, I think, get one more shot at getting back at the Blackfalls. But yeah, Canada, it's a masterclass. Let's just see how well they execute this last manoeuvre. Here they go. This is the mover for the money. That was absolutely perfect. Billy Gooderham has got that boat on rails right now. They are nailing it round the course here. Beautiful play. Paul Campbell-James, he calls for a little high mode to try and make it to the finish. This is, they're just coming in straight here. If they can make the right turn with no more manoeuvres, then this will be the first time North Star Canada, with Giles Scott on the wheel, can take a victory.
Stevie, you have to go back to March of 2023. Canada, season 3 in Christchurch, the last time they had an event win. So it is a long time coming as Giles Scott has now taken the wheel, and he looks very good right now, trying to hold off the Kiwis and the Aussies. And there you see the distance. This is all but a done deal for North Star Canada, as Giles Scott will spin it one more time to the right, and he'll be 250 meters away from glory.
Going to get it done. It's going to be brilliant for Canada, but right now, neck and neck, Slingsby and Burling. This is going to be huge for the championship as a whole. Right of way is with Australia. New Zealand must be confident of crossing ahead.
And as they approach the line, it has been 727 days in the making. The Emirates winning moment goes the way of North Star Canada.
Elbows up for the North Star Canada across the finish line. Wow, what a result by them. Giles Scott bounces back from Sydney disappointment.
The greatest neighbors to the north as Canada comes to Los Angeles and claims the top prize. The Kiwis will hold on for second, Australia third.
Tom Slingsby's going to be frustrated. He did not nail that start at all. He's going to be annoyed, and the Blackfall as well. Some pretty clear things to go work on. Their manoeuvring not as good as we used to seeing. Started very nicely. When they started well, they did well. But there, they just didn't quite have the manoeuvres down. They'll be happy with a second, though. Yep. Championship as a whole, those 3 teams will be good. But that's exactly what Canada needed. They needed an event win. They've got an event win. Huge for their season 5.
Canada was sitting in 6th place overall coming into this event. You tack on 10 more points for the win here, and that will certainly bump them up the ladder. Once again, it's Canada getting the win at event number 4. The Rolex Los Angeles Sail Grand Prix goes the way of the Canadians. All right, the race at hand as we come up on 45 seconds to go until the event final here at the Oracle San Francisco Sail Grand Prix. Spain, Canada, and France. Hannah Diamond, pick your poison. Who do you like?
Well, that's a tough call here. I think the Spanish are lined up nicely, and I wouldn't bet against them.
Well, here we go. You can see that you're all going to be trying to get the downwind inside under the line, and the attackers in this situation are going to be Canada. They're the furthest back. Spain have kind of made their bed, and they're looking to put it out.
Here we go, 15 seconds before the start of the event final.
All about being clear at this start is what Diego Bortin said. As we can see now, out of the fog, it's going to be North Star Canada threading the needle between the fleet here, looking for that line to turn right, and it's all about the timing. Oh, the French have nailed it, Todd. They're on the inside, they're fast, they're foiling hard, they've got the right of way, and I do not see anyone leading this French team ahead at Mark 1.
Like a scene out of Master and Commander as they emerge from the fog and they approach mark number 1. It will be the French who get in just barely into the event final, and they will pick up the whole shot here in San Francisco.
Oh, they nailed that start when they needed to. They came through on the attack. Spain are going to have a lovely dive down at mark 1 and expect them to maneuver away first here. There they go in the background. That had to be the call in third place. Canada move away behind. Not the best maneuver, and France cover. Now it's going to be a sprint as they all try and line up gate 2. That's the first opportunity for a split, Hannah, but I love where the French are right now. Darker patch there, looks like they found breeze.
Yeah, and the breeze has definitely picked up since the last race, so they've got to be aware that the maneuvers are going to be slightly different, but Spain had to split at that point. They had to make that first maneuver, but I think France are lined up really nicely for the bottom gate.
Don't need to speak a lot of French to understand that super means they're pretty happy on board that French boat right now, and they've really got a big lead, 100 metres there. We see in that Oracle cloud is telling us that they are just constantly faster on board the French boat at the moment. They're just in good breeze, they're moving ahead. And now at gate 2, big decision. I suspect the French will take the right turn. They'll keep it simple, one more manoeuvre right turn. The interesting one, Spain. Spain manoeuvre early. I suspect they'll look for a left turn, try and split the course, but is there opportunities on the race course for an overtake, or have the French already done it?
And there's the maneuver as the French come in now at the bottom of the course. This is gate number 2, the DP World Gate. It is France by 100 meters. Don't count out the Canadians, Stevie. We've seen this before. We saw it in Los Angeles. It looks like they were not going to be in the top spot, and they came back and got the pass.
Yeah, it's not. This race is way far from over. We're only on just coming onto leg 3 of 6. We're not even anywhere near halfway, really. And it is Spain who do split away. No surprise there. Constant attack for Botin. And Lisa, what's the breeze looking like down there on the water? Is it looking better offshore still?
Good pressure.
Yeah, I mean, the fog has come all the way into the bay now, so it's changed the game a little bit. I think the Spanish, they're in really good breeze, but where the French are, where originally it was quite light, there is breeze there now, so it's kind of, it's changed again, and I think the French are probably still in a strong position.
So you see the visibility down closer to the water, and this could be a situation with that fog where they might not know where the other team is. But they right now have good visibility as they go through that chopped up water. Spain has the advantage, or right away, I should say.
Yeah, and they've made the jump there over Canada. That obviously was a good call to take that left turn, and now they're sailing into slightly less tide as they get close to that shoreline.
Right of way Spain here, Hannah, and it looks like they're going to get it. Oh, we called it. Left turn at the bottom was huge. This race is all wide open, but the Spanish boat right now looks so fast.
Yeah, they look really nice and settled now. The breeze is up, don't they? So they're going to be hard to beat from here, but I know that the French will keep pushing.
The thing to remember as well here, Todd, is that the Spanish made a gain by coming away from San Francisco. That's where France are going, where the North Star Canada team are. So potentially Spain are sailing into less wind. Lisa did think it was a bit better on that side, but this race is going to keep going all the way to the wire.
With the San Francisco skyline as a backdrop, the French spin the boat around, currently in second place.
Big grinders across the front there. Matty Van Dam, he's straight across in there. Going to start pushing hard on those handles. And they've got the right of way when they meet back up with the Spanish.
Shooting, Flo. Shooting. Yes, no problem. All good. We're clear.
Just a little bit unsure how they were looking on Canada, and Florian there, calm voice when it was needed. We're clear. I think they're just across, but are they across the French? This race is all on, Todd.
Here we go as they approach gate number 3.
Oh, Nicole sounded confident there. All good, they touched down. I mean, that's a marginal call, but she was confident. That's what you want to hear as a driver out there. Confident calls from your strategist. And to me right now, Spain looking phased. Look at that, Nicole van Velden, still with that bad leg. She's struggling across the boat, but you can't say she's not a fighter, that is for sure. As in the background, Canada and France are having to take avoiding action, and that's going to mean a big gain for the Spanish team up at the top here, but another big decision. Do you turn left and head to the shore, or do you take this right turn and hope to find more breeze? Another crucial decision for the chasing boats here.
And here we go. It is Spain that'll make the decision first, and they will opt for the left-hand side, so they will go closer to shore. Who will split the course and who will follow?
I think the Canadians will split. They've got to. They're going to save manoeuvres. France are going to follow, but France are going to lose distance doing that. So really, I think for Spain, that was a huge moment. France always had to split. If they followed Canada, they would have just been sailing in disturbed wind, which they're just going to be sailing slower. At least now they got a chance to be fast, but doing that manoeuvre, they've lost meters in that.
So here it is, the situation at hand. It is Spain out in front. They will go down to the bottom of the course. They will turn, come back up, and then it'll be a left turn to the finish line. Can they hold off the Canadian? Giles Scott, he is a master-class sail, and we'll see what they can pull off. The two-time Olympic gold medalist in the fin class.
Well, they were elbows up in LA, weren't they? And they were hoping for a bit of a double-double here in San Fran, but right now they're going to rely on a mistake for the Spanish because they're sailing really nicely on board that Spanish boat. Get last at gate 3, they were third at gate 3, Hannah, and look at this, nearly 200 meters ahead. I mean, they're going fast.
Yeah, they've got a really great lead. They definitely wanted that left turn at the top. I think they're coming down in really nice pressure at the moment, and if they just keep calm, they should be able to pick their gate mark at the bottom and keep it nice and simple.
All right, Hannah, look at your crystal ball. Which way does Diego Botín and the Spanish go when they get to the bottom of the course? What do you think?
Well, I think they'll probably want to turn right. It looks like they're setting up just for the ley line there, so that means they don't have to have any more maneuvers, but Canada are catching up.
Look at the speed difference. Canada checking in around 76 kilometers an hour. The Spanish now just picking up their speed. They hold at 72.
Yeah, interesting call here. I was going to say, Spain gained by coming away from San Francisco. So he's basically decided, let's do what we did work for us last time. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep it simple. They're going to head away from the shore. The tricky decisions with the boats behind. Does Canada follow and try and secure this second place, or do they risk it all? It looks like they're going to try and secure it, so it's France that are going to roll the dice.
And they do. Quentin Delapierre and the French, they turn away. They will opt for the other side, looking for clean air. And now it is Giles Scott hoping that Diego Botín and the Spanish, the defending champions from season 4, make a mistake here as they head upwind.
Rolex chasing time, 7 seconds for the Canadians to catch up. And the trouble is, because Spain have pushed all the way to the boundary here, Canada are going to end up basically following them. And it's just control, control, control. I think Canada needed to manoeuvre a bit earlier after that gate if they were going to make more of a race of it. For me, Canada are almost saying, okay, you keep making the right decision, Spain. We're just going to follow you and let you have it. Or, fingers crossed for a mistake, which we're just not seeing from that Spanish boat at the moment.
Spain just moments away from being the 5th team in season 5 to get a win out of 5 events. Stevie, who'd have thought that across the board? 5 different winners in 5 different events.
Well, they seem to like it here in San Francisco, don't they, the Spanish? I mean, they've led a final here, and there you go, Nicole there, good gains here. I mean, you can't wish to hear anything better than that.
No, they just seem so calm and confident. They're in a controlling position here. The Canadians are going to have to either keep putting the pressure on, hoping for a mistake, but there's not a lot of options left to split from here.
No, Canada will manoeuvre next, probably, and then Spain will just go straight with them. And if they go all the way till they can get to the turning point, then the Spanish have got it in the bag anyway. There go Canada. Expect Spain to follow. Oh, Florian, we do our thing. Well, there you go. I'm surprised he's opened the door a little bit, but they weren't maybe ready for the manoeuvre there.
4, 3, 2, 1. Turning. Pressing out. Good. Nice. Pressing.
Surprised that Diego Botín does all this in English.
Yeah, I know. It's really impressive. It's great for the commentary, isn't it? It does save us having to do as much talking.
Leg 5 of 6. There is Canada. There is Spain on the right-hand side. Both of them will make a left-hand turn at this final mark as France comes into view. But it looks like the Spanish, Stevie, if they perform properly on this last maneuver, they've got this one in the bag.
Yeah, they've done a nice job. They've just sailed smooth, haven't they? And you can just tell that Diego and Nicole at the back have got a really special connection. They're really understanding each other, the calmness that comes in. Teams works clean. They've executed that well, just about a turn now, and then they can enjoy once again an event-winning run to the finish here in San Fran.
3, 2, 1. I'm down.
They make the left-hand turn at the final mark, and there you see the finish line just ahead. As they come across the line, no big shocker here. They won 2 races in the fleet race, and now the Emirates winning moment. The celebration can begin. Spain rules San Francisco again.
Well, I've watched Rafael Nadal win enough tennis events to know that Vamos is a good thing. And I might not speak a lot of Spanish, but what an Emirates winning moment that is there. It means a lot, doesn't it? Their season now is fully up and running. That's huge. North Star Canada, another good result for them. They're really the form team at the moment.
First event win since season 4 win in San Francisco for the Spanish as they claim this one at the Oracle San Francisco Sail Grand Prix. Diego Botín, Florian Trittel, the entire squad getting it done. Nicole Vandervelde and Stevie, you talked about it, the injured leg, but she did work on that boat today to get them in. France will come through and they will finish in third, but they will pick up some valuable season points. Once again, tip your cap to the Spanish as they dominate on the Pacific.